Hello class, welcome to Zinda Maths and my name is Saeed Akif Ali. So in the last lecture we studied about the concepts of the whole numbers and how they were created. Like we discussed the natural number, the concepts of the number, that in mathematics, like every concept of mathematics has a practical application, and whenever something is created in mathematics, it is created for a reason. So basically we created natural number because we needed to count things. Then we were facing a problem that how will you represent nothingness? Like suppose if I got some apples and I ate all of them, how many have I got left? How will you represent that idea with the help of the number? And that's how the whole numbers were created. Whole numbers. The numbers are starting from the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Now these numbers, when they were created, again the purpose were the same. That was to be able to calculate and to be able to count. And we discussed last time that there were some questions which were unanswered. That whole numbers were not able to calculate every single concept. They were not able to count every single thing. There was some question, there were some problems that people were wondering about. Like let's say example, people ask that if you can subtract 2 minus 1, it's 1. Then if 2 minus 1 must have an answer, then 1 minus 2 must also have an answer. Similarly, if you are saying that 5, the smaller than 5 is 4, smaller than 4 there is 3, and smaller than there is 2, smaller than 2 there is 1, and smaller than 1 there is 0. There must be something which is smaller than 0 as well. People wondered that, yeah, these are legitimate questions. If you can subtract 2 minus 1, then 1 minus 2 must also have an answer. If you could subtract 3 minus 2, now there must be something 2 minus 3, or like 5 minus 4, then 4 minus 5 as well. So these were the questions which we could not have answered merely with the whole numbers. To solve these problems, mathematicians created the idea of negative numbers. And that's how we were introduced with the world of the new set of numbers that was called as the natural integers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We take all the whole numbers and included 0. The something is smaller than 0, that was called minus 1. Something is smaller than minus 1, it was called minus 2. Something is smaller than minus 2, it was called minus 3. And so on, the process goes on. So as with the positive numbers, after 2 there is 3, after 3 there is a 4, and the line goes on to the infinity. Similarly, with the negative numbers, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and the line goes on to the negative infinity. Like here we keep progressing with the negative numbers, minus 3, minus 10, minus 1000, minus 10,000. But in mathematics, you say that everything has a practical application. So how can something be negative? We agree that, yeah, we were the one who asked the question that, yeah, what should be the answer of 1 minus 2? Now you say that the answer is minus 1. We asked that what should be the answer of 2 minus 5. We said that that was we who asked this question, that what should be 1 minus 2. So we asked simply it should be minus 1. What is the answer of 2 minus 5? We simply answered that it is minus 3. But the thing is that what do these numbers represent? Because the whole purpose of creating number was to be able to calculate and to be able to count. So what exactly these numbers are counting? Because 0 represent, like suppose if I tell you that how many pens have I got, you will simply say, sir, you have got 2 pens. I can simply write them down with the help of this number that there are 2 pens. If I lose one, like this pen is lost somewhere, how many have I got? You will say that, sir, simply you have got 1 pen. But even if I lose this one as well, how many have I got? Now I have got a number for representing that, that's 0. That yes, sir, now I have got 0 pen. But beyond 0, or rather I should say below 0, what is the need of making minus 1? What does it exactly represent? What does it exactly representing? What is minus 1 representing? I can visualize 1, I can visualize 2, I can visualize 3. I can visualize 0 as well. Like it is simply representing nothingness. 1 is representing single entity, 2 representing 2 entities. But how will I visualize minus 1? What is the idea behind this? What exactly is this representing? So there is this amazing way that it can be understood. Let's say this is the marker I possess. I lost it. Now there is my friend, his name is Zaid, and I borrowed one marker from him. That Zaid, I need a marker, and he lent me a marker. He lent me another marker. Now you will say that how many markers have I got? You might say, sir, that no, you have got one marker. But no, I do not possess one marker now. Let me clarify once more. I had a marker, then that was 1. I lost 1, now I have got 0. When I borrowed something from someone else, when I borrowed a marker from someone else and he gave me a marker, how many markers have I got? Do I still have one marker? No, I have got -1 marker. Because this -1, it is representing the debt upon me, that I have to return that 1 marker to him, then I will be at the 0. Similarly, if I borrow 2 rupees from somebody, like suppose I have got 10 rupees, now this is the amount I have got, I'll use positive numbers. I spent all the money, I have got 0. Now I'm still hungry, I want to buy something to eat. So I borrowed 5 rupees from my friend. Now, do I have got 5 rupees? No, absolutely not. I'm in a debt of the 5. So I will write it with the help of the -5. Now I have got a debt of -5 rupees. I need to return that amount to somebody. So that concept of the debt can be understood with the help of the negative number. So the positive numbers represent asset, that you have got something, and the negative numbers, they simply represent the debt, that you are in a loss. And it is not only limited to the asset or the debt. Like suppose the positive numbers, now this set of the numbers was called integers. This new set was called the integers. It actually contained 3 types of the numbers: positive integers, negative integer, and in the center there was 0. Now this new set of the numbers, the positive numbers, what they were representing? They were representing asset, like I have got something, asset, this something which I possess. The negative number, they were representing the debt, karza, you say, and 0, it was representing nothing, that I have got nothing, not at all, anything at all, not anything at all. So these new, but the positive numbers and the negative numbers are not only limited to the asset or debt. Anything which shows an increment, like anything which is increasing, it is represented with the help of the positive numbers, and anything which is decreasing, it is represented with the set of the negative numbers. You say that I have got a profit, I will represent it with the help of the positive numbers. Let's say I have got a loss, I spent some money, I invested somewhere and I got a loss. So I'll represent that loss with the help of these negative numbers. Let's say that someone is ascending. So when he is climbing the stairs, that ascend will be represented with the positive number. 2 stairs I climbed, so positive 2. Similarly, if I am going below, then I'll represent it with the help of the negative numbers. You must understand that when altitude is represented, it is generally positive, and when depth is represented, it is generally negative. So the negative and the positive number, the whole idea represent the increment and the decrement. When something is increasing, that is represented with the help of positive number, and when something is decreasing, that is represented with the help of negative number. And 0 is that limit beyond which you measure, or 0 is the limit below which you measure. So if that limit that you have set, like suppose for me, this surface, we measure the height and the depth. So the height is measured from the surface level. So that ground or that surface level, or maybe with the sea level, we measure the height with sea level. So that sea level is our 0. Now above that, we will represent with the help of the positive number, and below that, we will represent with the help of negative numbers. So that is the whole idea of negative numbers or positive numbers, and how the integers were created. They were simply created to represent asset, debt, profit, loss. That's how the integers were created. And one more thing that I want to share, that whenever something is created in mathematics, there are basically 4 operations that you can perform: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So these are the 4 ideas we are going to discuss with the integer, that how exactly we are going to add. You might say that, sir, I already know how to add, how to subtract, how to multiply and divide. No, my boy, you only know how to add, subtract, multiply, divide the whole numbers. The concept of adding integers and the positive and negative numbers, or the multiplying them, are quite different from the general whole numbers. You might find some places where there will be a sign of negative and you will have to add, and you will also find some questions where their sign will be a positive but you will have to subtract. Now how to identify this question and how to solve this problem and how to deal with the integer, that we are going to learn in the next lecture. Thank you very much, all of you.